What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 76 of the Pucking Around podcast, Free Agent Fumbles. I am Goosey, what the hell did you just say?
Yeah, what was that? The Exorcist?
Fumbles. Yes.
Nobody doesn't speak, and the one time he does
What
speak,
the
he makes
fuck are
himself
you?
freak out.
This is what he just sounded like. Anyway, I'm Goosey, your host from Hibernation,
You're not.
and that sorry attempt of whatever whispers that was supposed to be was Matt Nordy from the Habnormals podcast, and he's very quiet right now. And up above him is from the Flyer Gonna Flyer podcast, Alex Ferngully Fernet. And then
He sounded like a depressed Darth Vader just then, except quiet.
yeah, I don't know what he was trying to get at. It was nuts. And then diagonal to the Fernmeister is going to be the handsome man himself, filibuster Eric Martino from Flyer Gonna Flyer.
What's up, boys?
Wow.
Who's
Who
doing
did
the
that?
soundboard? Someone kick him off of that. You don't give that to you
That was
don't
definitely
cricket, Eric.
You got a
That's
shit-eating grin
ridiculous.
right now.
You freaking piece of shit. And we are also joined by our director in the little itty bitty box. If you're watching on YouTube in the middle
Cheers,
there,
folks.
he's just a little itty bitty guy today. Eric.
Cheers.
Did I just say Eric? Sorry. Rick, the Slags,
Very close.
Seligman. Same shit.
I'm slagging,
Eric,
you are
Rick.
not.
Dude,
It's all right, Cam. You're
Eric,
only off by about 20 years.
what? With Rick? Yeah. At the rate I'm going. Aren't you older than me, you
30.
piece of shit?
30 years, I think.
No, with Rick and Eric, I mean. You called him Eric at first. Eric's
same thing.
40. Rick is 60s.
Alex
Oh.
is just getting ready. He's just
Fair
waiting on when he can start getting mad about the
Yeah, are some of our topics tonight. Well, let's get into it, guys. Well, as you guys out there listening to us, if you guys so could tell, that our episode tonight is going to be devoted to free agency, which opened last Tuesday. Kind of underwhelming. We kind of expected that. A lot of the big names came off the board pretty early. Mitch Marner, Brock Besser, and that pretty much left, Nikolai Ehlers to go. Oh, also, Sam Bennett, Aaron Ekblad as well. They all were signed in Florida along with Brad Marchand because life hates me. Yeah. So kind of an underwhelming free agency year, right, guys?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
but don't worry. 2026 will be so much better until everyone re-signs with their team there, too.
Yeah. Especially with that cap going up, I really don't project. I don't really see next year being that much different either. I mean,
Maybe
know-
that's why they do all these really early stuff about it, because by the time you get down to it, everybody's gone, so you can't talk about it anyways.
I mean, you got a good free agent class next year, but it's just most of them aren't going to touch free agency unless they want to. That's the thing, unless they want to. But that's in the future. We're in the present. How'd you guys feel about free agency? Winners, losers,
underwhelming.
Bueller.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
honestly, like really, really underwhelming. But again, like expected, right? Because like you said, like all the big guys ended up either re-signing with their teams or like someone like Marner that was just like traded to
Bum.
fucking, and then sign and trade. So like who are we left with? Like it's Ehlers watch, Nikolai Ehlers watch. It's like ooh.
But I mean, every year is like that now. It's not like it used to be. Every
The
year.
trades are better than free agency now. The big acquisitions, I feel like, are made through the trade market versus free agency nowadays. And next year's market supposedly is supposed to be a lot better, as Cam just mentioned. But as he also just mentioned, I fully expect at least 75% of those names to probably re-sign with their teams. So I don't see it.
I genuinely thought.
Go ahead.
Alex, I genuinely thought that we were going to get some offer sheets. I mean, there are quite a few players that filed for arbitration. So, I mean, like, I'm kind of surprised that we didn't see one, or at least teams attempting to see one. I mean, the cap, did go up, and some teams do want it, but it seems like a lot of people are holding on to their 2026 picks. It is a deeper draft, but it's definitely something.
It's only a week. It's only a weekend. Come on, there's time.
But you would have thought by now, because I see some of those names that filed for arbitration. Capocaco being one of them, Gabriel Velarde being another one. You just look at some of them like, oh well, you like Marco Rossi. I didn't see his name on that arbitration list either, so that normally tells me that the deal might get done. But
somebody made this point. I don't know the last time we talked about it. Teams could be waiting out the other teams, waiting for the right time to pounce when they've got no money and they can't match. Early into this part of the season, a lot of teams still have money.
Yeah, very
so if you make an offer sheet on the players, they can still match. So I think that's what's happening.
When was the Ehlers contract?
We'll see offer sheets a little bit.
The Ehlers contract, I think it was 7 by 8.5.
No, but when was it announced?
6 by 8.5.
Oh, 6 by 8.5, and it was announced
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yeah, because that kind of went a couple days.
Yeah, that lasted a while. Yeah,
no, we're a week in. We're a week in, so it's like 3 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago they announced it.
Yeah, so that did that surprise anyone that it kind of took that long?
Well, I mean, since he was the most coveted free agent left, he probably just weighed out his options. He knew he didn't have to rush because he had so many teams that were interested in him. He ultimately picked Carolina because it just seemed like the best fit. I'm not really surprised he went there. I thought the contract was great value. He's a good winger. Carolina needed to add some scoring talent to that top six, and he's going to fill in that role nicely. I like that deal, and it just made sense with no one else big name being out there.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he's going to fit there because, look, I like Nick Ehlers as a player, but, I don't consider Nick Ehlers like a superstar in this league, right?
No.
But now we'll see. Look, if he gets elevated minutes in Carolina, a bigger role to play, maybe he can become, maybe hit that next level. But at the same time, he is, I think, 28, 29. So we'll see there. But look, they had to do something. Carolina needs scoring. So he was the best available. Apparently, I heard that they were gonna try and offer Marner a crazy number, but he wanted to go to Vegas, so
yeah,
that didn't end up happening. So we'll see. Look, I think right now what Carolina is doing is I think because they can't land that big fish, they're just going with depth. They traded for Stankoven, now they sign Ehlers. So all right to go with all those with Jarvis and all those young guys that they have in Stankoven and everything. So we'll see. I'm curious to see what Carolina is going to look like next year.
Well, who'd be available anyway?
The big issue with them is they still have KK as their 2C, and that's not
that's gonna be that's gonna
Stankoven can fill that role. Stankoven can.
He's not a center.
He's not a center. He's a winger.
Stankoven is a winger.
Stankoven plays both. Stankoven plays both
he's
center
more
and
of a winger. He's a lot more of a winger. It's like Jordan
He's very
Kyrou.
small.
He's not going to be the 2C.
No.
No, we'll see. They got to maybe try and get rid of that KK. Because honestly, look, Kotkaniemi, to me, he's not a bad player. And at the money he's making, he's not making a shit ton of money. But the problem there is that he's a 3C, but they're asking him to be a 2. And he can't be the 3C because Jordan Stahl's the 3C. So it's you're kind of stuck where it's well, okay, now what do we do with this guy?
Yeah, they shouldn't have.
Do you think that Carolina kicked tires on Charlie Coyle just because of the size?
I don't think so, no.
How do you know anyway?
Yeah, but it wouldn't have
there's a lot of guys that were GMs asked about all over the place. You just don't hear about it. You'll never really know.
Yeah. I mean, Coyle's played the 2C in Boston, at least for a couple of years, and he did well at it until this past year where he fell off a cliff. But I would imagine but Coyle also had an MNTC attached to him, so I don't know. No, I like the signing that Carolina did for Nikolai Ehlers. I was just surprised it took that long because if you guys even read about it a little bit, it sounded like that was his prime. That was his prime destination. That's where he always wanted to go. So I was wondering. Yeah, so it's just kind of did it take Carolina a day or two to kind of look at that and wonder what else was available, or was that always their plan? I don't know. I know their primary target was Mitch Marner, so maybe I don't know. that was just weird for me.
What-
That if
when
that
it's
was
out-
the ideal destination.
When it's out there that it's his ideal destination, it kind of gives the leverage to the team, though, right? So maybe that was what it was the negotiation on the money. One, they both thought they had the leverage or whatever. So it took a few days, but I mean, 3 or 4 days is not long,
Yeah.
right? It's not long.
No, it's not that long. Because look,
I was just
heard,
surprised
like,
because
no, but
ahead,
like they
Eric.
were saying on 32 Thoughts that there was at least like 5 teams that were interested in him that he was mulling over, and that he had said no to Detroit. Which I found funny because he said no to Detroit. He's like, nah, I'm good. Thanks.
Shocking. The eyes are scammed. Strikes again.
What was good? You'd
I-
like to
I
sign?
still-
Nah, I'm good.
they're going to be competing with the Bruins for like the 6th spot in the Atlantic Division. I said that yesterday. I don't see, what did that team do? They acquired John Gibson. They still, I don't know.
They're
They're-
mid. What is Eiserman's plan? They're so damn mid. They've been mid for the last 5 years. What?
How long do you think it's until Dylan Larkin requests a trade?
I give him 1 more year.
I thought there was something about.
He's Detroit's version of Ron Hextall. He did great in LA and sucked here, and that's what he did in freaking Detroit. He did great in Tampa and sucks in Detroit. Fire him. He sucks.
Alex, what do you think?
Alex had too much
How long do you
coffee
think it's gonna
today.
take
I think.
until- Yeah, clearly the guy's hyped up on caffeine or some shit. What's weird though is like Matt went from a camera to a picture though. Like that's kind of strange. That's he
And
looks
it's
like
better.
he's living
He
a
looks
sedentary
better in that
lifestyle.
picture.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Alex, how long
Improvement.
do you think if the Red Wings continue to not improve, how long do you think it takes until Dylan Larkin requests a trade out of there? Because
I
like
think
Rick
he
was
did
probably
last
about to
year.
say.
I thought I'd read that he did last year.
No,
I believe he was contemplating.
So
he made comments at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to.
That's
He
what I
made
thought.
comments about his disappointment at the lack of aggression that they had at the trade deadline.
Right, that's what it was.
And those comments resonated with the front office, saying, "All right, we got to do something." And all they've done was add.
When you're
they added James Van Riemsdyk. Come on.
Oh yeah.
That's all they need.
That's
right?
that move. Needle mover.
14-year-old JVR comes to the rescue. Yipty fuck.
And Mason Appleton.
Ooh,
Come on, guys.
How could I
Oh
forget
God. Yeah.
Sorry, no disrespect to Mason Appleton, but
you want to talk about a free agent fumble? Yeah, that one's up there definitely as a bad one. Like, I want to talk about things that they needed, like that. You add him and Riemsdyk. Oh God, I thought you were trying to get better, not worse.
It's like Alex said. They just add a bunch of mid, like nothing that will take this team like just a. But like, look, I understand. Like, you don't want to like build your team through free agency. That's not the right way to do it. But like, these are guys that you would add like. If you think you're a contender, we need that grit guy on like our 3rd or 4th line. Okay, let's add, Appleton. We need that 13th forward that like, in case of an injury, let's sign Gene Van Riemsdyk. But like, you're doing this trying to like compete for next year. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like,
Stevie knows
hoping
that
the kids are gonna.
Hold on, Eric. No, they're going to compete. They're going to compete for 6th place in the Atlantic. That's what they're going to do.
If they don't make the playoffs this year, he's going to get fired. And this is it. This is Detroit's last shot. I'm sick of. I've seen Red Wing fans try to push this plan to me. You haven't made the playoffs in what? If they don't make it next year, it'll be a decade. A full decade.
Keep signing Patrick Kane. Keep signing Patrick Kane too.
The thing is, Patrick Kane is not even. I will say, I thought he was watched 2 years ago, and he's been fine. But that's not their issue. They don't have enough core guys. They have a few good core guys: Sider, Larkin, Raymond, etc. But they don't have enough.
Marco
Their
Casper,
defense especially. Their defense doesn't have enough core guys. They really don't.
Casper will be a 2C. I mean, he's young. Like Casper will be. He'll
Casper's a
develop
good player.
into a good player.
No, he's fine.
It's just like, but outside of like, oh God, I can't remember. Moritz Seider, Palika, who's down in.
I like him. Oh yeah, I like him.
Yeah, like, but he's
Brandon
down in
Palika.
the AHL. Yeah, he's not even part of the NHL roster. He's down in the AHL, and then you have like Edvinson, but like, I don't know, man. They're really, in terms of defense, there's not much right there right now. It's not showing much promise outside of Sider and Pelika. So
Do you think Edmondson's a first pairing defenseman? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but like
Say that
talking about
again?
their defense, I think it's like, look, you had Hronik. Okay, fine. You traded him because you're still kind of in a rebuild. Fine. You signed Shane
Yeah.
Gostisbehere. He's great for you. You let him walk. You have Jake Wallman. He's a good defenseman. You pay
Trade him.
to fucking to get rid of that contract. And then you
Throw
sign
a bear.
Shabar. You sign Jeff Petrie. You sign who's that other fucking pylon that they anyway, whatever. Like Yzerman just is not
You're
making
throwing
any sense. And he's
You're
hoping
throwing
that
shit
his
at a wall
draft
and
picks,
hoping it sticks.
yeah, and he's hoping that his draft picks are gonna pan out. And for him, honest to God, I really hope they do, because if they don't, and there's a couple guys that he went on safe picks with that like he could have got better talent at that same position. Now you better hope these guys pan out and pan out soon, because your job is on the line, buddy.
They passed.
You
on
were hoping
Zach
that they needed a
Benson.
better offseason.
They passed on Zach Benson for Nate Danielson.
Yeah.
Fumble.
We'll see.
Like,
Do you think they make a play for Bo and Byram?
Wouldn't hurt.
Buffalo
I
shot.
heard they are one of the teams that are interested, though.
But I will say this though: would Buffalo be willing to trade them to an Atlantic Division rival?
It would probably
that's
take
another.
Over.
It would, yeah. The price would have to be a little higher.
Yeah, I mean, Bo and Byram's expressed that he does not want to play there, so I mean, it does add leverage to Detroit a little bit if the other teams think that the asking price is too high, and then or Detroit could just offer sheet him.
Well, he's
whatever, right?
He's arbitrary. It's fucking fumbling. Buffalo.
Words are hard.
Words are fucking hard. Buffalo sent him to arbitration. It's like a team arbitration or no?
Yeah, so he's not eligible now, right?
Yeah, he can't be offer sheeted now.
I didn't think so.
What
do you think about Detroit?
Wait. If the team takes you to arbitration, that cancels out any offer sheet.
Any arbitration, you can't offer sheet the player.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
It's because that would probably make sense, considering
it makes
that it
sense,
shows a willingness that you're.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
And it's a team arbitration. So
right now,
yeah, they were saying that because it's a team arbitration, he's the one that choose. Like if it actually does go to arbitration, he's the one that gets to choose the term of the contract, the length of the contract, so 1 or 2 years. And if he chooses 2, that brings him right to UFA. Yeah. So we'll see. But I think they brought him to arbitration just because they that's it. They weren't. They were worried someone was probably going to offer sheet him.
Yeah, I would.
Well, we'll see.
Let's talk about
I would be too, because
sorry, I only brought that up because we've been pounding. As much as I love to make fun of Stevie and his shitty decisions, we've been kind of pounding Detroit.
No, I mean we brought up Carolina. No, we brought up Carolina. We talked about that they satisfied a need, and what Detroit did. Woohoo! They brought a goalie, and they finally got rid of fucking Peter Mrazek after a trade. Like, yeah, that was another weird one, but they didn't do enough, and they signed Mason Appleton. So I don't know.
I actually like the Mrazek trade because Peter Mrazek can't stop a beach ball anymore. So like that was actually kind of good, but I don't know. The rest of their moves are puzzling. Like they're in danger of falling kind of in the Buffalo territory of just in a perennial rebuild because they just can't figure it out.
Oh, I don't know. I think they got like 5-6 years to hit.
I can hear you.
Right, but I'm just saying like they're in danger of getting into that
cycle. See you. Weird how that works. It's like you can hear him, but it's like a ghost. Like, you know what I mean? You can hear.
We were talking about Casper before.
No, but one thing I will say about this whole thing with Detroit is just it feels like they're in a state of delusion. Like they keep saying, "Oh, wait till this team develops. Wait till this team develops." You can't use that line for 9 years. I'm sorry. I understand Detroit pushed the rebuild back further and further and further back in the mid-2010s.
Can we just note that Alex wanted to move on from Detroit, and then he just goes right back into it?
I know.
All right.
He's just like, fuck that guy. Hey,
on that
I
note,
acknowledge that I can have a field day making fun of Stevie Yzerman.
On that
note, Alex, you wanted to bring up another team.
As the director, it's time to put the heat up. Let's go.
That list is shit.
All right,
Was that you
so
who
for
made
those of you,
that?
all right, for those of you who are listening, a graphic was just put up describing some of the worst UFA deals, and I don't know who made it, Rick. It looks like it was by you.
No, I found this online. It's not.
Yeah,
I know that.
Okay.
The font is a font I use, but it's not me.
Okay. So this was found online, and it's listing the top 8 worst UFA deals, and it has Christian Dvorak. Now, Alex, shut up for like 3 seconds while I just run through this. It has Christian Dvorak at number 1 with 1 year at 5.4 million. Then it has Mason Appleton at 2.9 million. Tanner Jeannot, 3.4 million. Definitely agree there. Brian Dumoulin, 4 million. At 4. And 5, the Dmitry Orlov at 6.5 million. 6, Vladar 3.35 million. I don't think that's bad for him. And then 7, John Klingberg 4 million. That's abysmal. And then Cody Ceci, which is also abysmal at 8 at 4.5 million AAV. All right, Alex, the floor is yours.
Okay, Dvorak isn't even the top 10 worst. How the fuck is Ivan Provorov not on this list? 7 years, $8.5 million for a middle of the pack second pairing defenseman because the guy can stay healthy. Contract where you sign a bottom sixer for 8 years for $4 million. That garbage? Turn that music off. I'm not done yet. Nick Hague out in Nashville. That moron friggin' Barry Trotz. Go listen. Barry Trotz, the coach, Hall of Fame caliber. Fantastic. Love everything about him. Barry Trotz, the GM, he ain't it. He ain't it. Nick Hague, that's a terrible contract. Tanner Jeannot, getting trade protection for 5 years at 3.4, garbage. Cody Ceci getting a multi-year contract, garbage. How is Christian Dvorak with 1 year? Yes, it's an overpayment.
1 year.
I fully agree with that. But how is Christian Dvorak?
Sure, but 1 year is not bad.
Contract?
No, but
You
that
could
is
move that
based on the
contract, too.
salary. So if you look at it on paper, it looks
but
like
that's
an
stupid
overpay.
if you're going to base it on salary. Because if I
If
give
you
someone
base
1
on
year at
salary,
9 million,
Provorov is still worse.
Well, but wait a second. All of those on the list didn't say any term. It was all money.
They didn't, but Ivan Provorov is still worse.
yeah,
Way
that's why
worse.
it's not good.
Okay, we can
Because
take Alex.
I would still rather. I would still take Christian Dvorak at 1 year at $5.4 million than I fucking would Tanner Jeannot at 5 years at 3.4 with trade protection. Are you kidding me? Yeah,
And
that's that. Whoever made that list is smoking crack, buddy.
Whoever made the list should have put the term, and that does have an effect.
Rick, can you pull that list up again? I'm not going to lose my collective shit anymore. I got it all.
Oh, why? We wanted to see you lose it.
So,
no, I want to bring up a point to Alex too, because Alex is like that 5.4 million. If Philadelphia really wanted to,
bad either. That's not a bad contract.
Okay, I guess
2
Alex
years.
Let Cam finish his thought.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
To roll on, it's fine. I'm used to it at this point. What is it? Episode 76. So, like to his point, now you fuck me up, dude, with your bullshit. Like if you wanted to, and if Philly wanted to, and Dvorak was having a good year, you could leverage that and you could retain 50% and then go get some value out of it. Like it's not going to be something phenomenal, but it's not like that's a bad deal. I can't. I wish I had that deal. Do you know what I can't do? I can't trade Mr. Punch the Puck in the face for 2 fucking years. I'm stuck with them. I'm stuck with that shit. I'm stuck with the turd sandwich that is Tanner Jeannot, who is going to just eat up $3.4 million in cap. So, Christian Dvorak isn't nearly as bad as what people think.
I would argue the Dvorak contract is better than everything except Orlov on this list. Maybe Vladar too. I only say maybe on him because when I look at the other UFA goalies that got signed, I'll give an example. Look at our boy that went out in Buffalo, Alex Lyon, 2 years, $1.5 million.
Yeah,
that's a good contract for him. Who was the other goalie that got signed?
Vladar, it's an overpayment of about
Jake Allen, 5 years, $1.8 million. So I will acknowledge if you want to put Vladar on this list, that one doesn't bother me as much. It's compared to the other goalies that got signed. That one was a little bit higher up, especially for a guy that's I think hit a 900 save percentage once, and it was barely.
Vladar's going to split time. Oh my god, I can't speak English. Vladar's going to split time with either Urson or Fedotov, so it doesn't really matter because I didn't realize that. But well, Fedotov is making a lot of money. You're not just going to bury him in the AHL.
There you are.
Oh,
That's exactly what they're going to do. He's got 1 year left. He's going to get one in it. You're going to save 1.1 mil against the cap. You're going to keep him in the AHL and just let his contract expire.
All right, fair.
So then,
that makes sense.
So then you have a 1B and a 1B for your goaltenders.
You're right. They have two 1Bs.
That's what you got.
It's more like a 1B and a 2A.
Rick, put that back up for a second because that has names. I'm gonna say like Cody Ceci on here is a really bad one too. $4.5 million. I don't think he's worth
contract.
That's a bad deal.
I don't think John Klingberg is worth. I don't know.
How many seasons for Ceci? No, nobody knows.
It makes sense. Probably four.
It was 4 years for Ceci.
Yeah,
that's why. Okay, but one thing I want to say though about this free agency period, honestly, I don't think anyone got like crazy stupid money. Like I don't think
Ivan Provorov.
It was Provorov, but like maybe Provorov got like overpaid by
Janot.
Where I think but see, like again, Janot, the money doesn't bother me. Where I find a lot of teams fucked up is the term, is a lot of term. Like Janot at 3.5, okay, fine. You give me Janot at 2 years at 2.5, 3.5, fine, even 3, but 5, that's where it becomes excessive.
Do you think
add the no trade clause into that too, and I'll just fucking shoot myself?
Okay, without the no trade clause, do you think the reason the term was given because the cap is going up now?
No,
so they're not as shy to give the term.
No, but I'll speak to this about the term being given is because I'm sorry to interrupt you, Eric, but I mentioned this last night. That literally Trent Frederick got effectively the same deal, and the age gap between them is 2 years, and the contract length difference is 2 years. That you basically replaced Trent Frederick, and that's it.
With the worst Trent Frederick.
With the worst Trent Frederick. At least Trent Frederick could accidentally put a puck in the net. This guy can't even fucking do that on accident.
Let me mention one other thing.
No, Eric's turn. No, I interrupted Eric. Go, Eric.
No, but that's it. Like even Orlov. Look, you got 6.5. 6.5 is not a bad number, and he only got 2 years. So for me, that's actually not a bad contract. Like,
I think it's bad money for the amount of term that he's getting.
For 2 years? No, I think that's fine. Like that's pretty much what he's worth at this point. Like I said, I have nothing against that contract. For me, it's fine because it's actually 2 years, so it's not that bad. But like, I want to talk about like just quickly. Like actually, we're talking about Detroit, so now I want to talk about a team that has one of their former general managers, the Kings. The fuck are the Kings doing? I just don't understand.
Can you bring them up? I thought it was just that coach that was an idiot.
Mark Bergevin.
They had a good young right shooting puck moving defenseman, Jordan Spence. They trade him to Ottawa for a third and a 6. Like a third and a 6.
And they don't know what to do with Brian Clark either.
Spence. Okay, so fine. You trade him. Okay, fine. So now their solution is let's give Cody Ceci 4 years at 4.5. 4 years at 4. And Brian Dumoulin 3 years at 4. And look, I get it.
That one doesn't bother me that much. The Dumoulin one doesn't bother me that much.
I get it because you want to have a competent third pair because that was a big issue with their third pair, like in the playoffs last year. But now you're paying $8.5 million for your third pair, and like aging, guys that are aging and that like teams were giving up on at certain points. So you're like. So you trade a good young, like at least sign one of these guys to pair with Spence to like, help him bring him up or something. You just got rid of that kid for nothing. Like, I'm sorry, but like a 3rd round pick, like in a week, because it was this year's draft. So in a weaker-ish draft, like I just don't get it. I really don't understand what they're doing.
But guys, I think they signed Corey Perry. They're going back to the final.
No, I think they're screwing over Brian Clark. They don't know what to do with him. And they're going to prevent him from ever making it. And I think that's going to be a huge mistake because they still have Drew Doughty, who's 35, and that's what's killing them too. Like that $11 million contract is really hurting them. They have Cody Ceci. So on the right side right now, they have Drew Doughty, Cody Ceci, and Kyle Burrows. And then you have Brant Clark. The Kings are probably going to lean on the veterans there. And I don't know if Brant Clark's going to make it because you have to outplay one of those guys. Or maybe he can play on the left. And then on your left side, Mikey Anderson, okay. Brian Dumoulin, not bad. Joel Edmondson, a good depth guy. But Joel Edmondson's just good in the depth. That's really it. That's all you're going to get out of him.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
You have more. They have more on the left side. Like Jacob Mavere. Oh, my God. Muvrer. I'm going to butcher that. But again, those are all depth pieces. But again, I agree with you, Eric. I don't understand why they moved a guy like Jordan Spence.
You know, it was a bad free agency for them when Anton Forsberg was their best signing. 2 by 2.25 for him. Good. That's a good signing. Everything else they did made no sense.
Well, look, like they added Armia and they added Perry to like beef up their fourth line. Like I didn't mind that much. Like whatever. At the end of the day, like who cares? But like it's just what they're doing on defense just doesn't make sense to me. Like I don't know.
They'll be back in the playoffs. I think. I mean, like they do need to sign Alex Laferriere, but I think they will. They'll be back.
But that's a team though I could see like if they get off to a bad start or something or one major injury. They're a team I wouldn't be shocked if they're the ones that were in last year that are out next.
If I'm them, you gotta hope and pray that Ans Kopitar can still produce. You just for the love of God, and you better hope that Drew Doughty does not just fall off and die. Like I don't know, man. Like you gotta start praying to whatever hockey gods you pray to.
That'll signal they're gonna retool or they're gonna have to rebuild when those two guys are reach the end.
No, I don't know about that because they still have Quentin Byfield.
True.
Like they
but that's a guy. Byfield. He's young, but he's really young, so you can rebuild around a guy.
But they also have Brant Clark, who's also a young, good defenseman, but he's an offensive style defenseman, I think, and so at least the way I see him, and so, but the only player they're not giving an opportunity to is Brant Clark.
No, he has to have a bigger role next year. Like he has to have a bigger role next year. Like, come on. Because if he doesn't, if they dick around with him again, he's going to ask for a trade. Like, I'm sorry. If I'm him, I'm asking for a trade.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. On the right side, who are you going to outplay? Cody Ceci? It's not hard to outplay Cody Ceci, but Cody Ceci makes $4.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't matter.
The only right-handed player is Kyle Burrows, and then if you put Cody Ceci down on the third pairing, which is where I see him, then Brant Clark plays the second pair because I don't see him. There's no way he outplays Drew Doughty for that first line right side.
Maybe. What if Doughty has a really bad season? Like that's the beginning of his decline.
And they're poor.
Could happen.
Yeah, well, if Drew Doughty just falls off a cliff and dies, then they're porked. Because that's their biggest defensive cornerstone that they have.
Yeah.
Who else are they going to rely on?
Then they got to do one of Mark Bergevin's favorite things to do: retool.
I got another team I want to roast a little bit. How about the Ducks? The fucking Ducks. This team. So first they sell Trevor Zegras for pennies on the dollar, and then they try convincing everyone they were going to go big name hunting. Their only big acquisition via free agency, because they didn't get Chris Kreider via trade, was Mikael Granlund at age 34, who they signed for 3 years. Good player, sure, but
what was out there? What were they going to get?
Well, that's the thing. If you're selling a guy like Zegras like that, you better have something ready to go.
Well, what if they're
why?
What if their plan? Because Mason McTavish has apparently asked to be moved. What if that's their plan? The return they're going to get if they move Mason McTavish.
Rick, do you trust?
He hasn't asked to be. No, Mason McTavish has not asked to be moved. From my understanding, he has asked the team that he wants to play center. Right, but the problem is Anaheim doesn't think they want him at center. So it's not that McTavish is necessarily asked to move. He's asked to play a certain position. He's unhappy because they don't want to play him at center.
Right.
If I'm Anaheim, I'm letting him play whatever fucking position he wants. If he wants to play goaltender, I don't care. Hell, he wants to play coach. Let him play coach. I don't give a shit. It's not a position.
You don't play coach. You don't.
That's the point. I don't care, Rick. You understand? I think you understand.
Play GM. I'm sure he'd do better than Furbeek.
Yep. Yeah. Don't care. Trade Strome. Literally do whatever you can to keep McTavish. Because if you don't, you're an idiot.
And let's go a step further with Anaheim real quick. Lucas Dostal is going for arbitration. after you traded John Gibson. You better not let that go off the rails. What is Verbeek doing? Can someone explain to me?
I have to admit, Dostal being in arbitration is a head scratcher after trading Gibson.
That makes no sense.
It's because they have Billy Uso and Peter Mrazek. And those are not just easily variable contracts. So I'm just and they have $28 million in cash. I understand Dostal's
you're going forward with that guy.
I understand that, Rick. I understand that. The
why you want to take your goalie of the future? Why you want to take him to arbitration and say bad things about him?
It's not that. It's the fact that they have Peter Mrazek making 4.25 and Billy Uso making 2.2.
Just
those are not.
Sure,
bury him, but like whatever. Yeah. Like, but my God, it's just why did you even go acquire these players just to? Oh my God!
I'm assuming moves are getting the relics of Chris Kreider and Mikael Granlund. Like now, I'm gonna say they're not both washed. Don't get me wrong; they're not both useless. But you're trying to get a team together that can age together in the same group, and you had a 33 and 34-year-old who Kreider is coming off of a career worst year. Granlund had a good year, but you really expect him to do that again? He played with Dallas half the year.
That's their leadership. They were lacking leadership, veteran leadership. That's what they did.
Yeah. I'm actually going to defend Anaheim because I actually like the moves that they made. Well, except for Billy Husso, that's just the one that I didn't get.
Yeah, the Billy Husso one, I'm with you. I'm with you, Eric. I don't hate the moves that they made because they're bringing in the players that are going to turn that locker room around.
Exactly. Like, look, how many times do we and I know I've brought this up a bunch of times, but look up the Sabres. The biggest issue with the Sabres is they never surrounded those young players with good veteran talent, and that's exactly what Anaheim is doing. Look, I think they gave maybe Granlund 1 year too much. I think 3 years was a little much. I would have preferred 2, but at the same time, look, good veteran player. Same thing with Kreider. Look, Kreider, he has 1 year left. You have nothing to lose by acquiring, and it cost them fucking nothing.
Yeah.
So, you put these good wingers, especially when you have, if McTavish really does want to play center, plus you have Leo Carlson, you get these veteran wingers to play alongside them to, to bring them along, to, show them the way, you know? I think they're actually pretty decent moves by Anaheim. But like I said, the only one that, Billy Husso at $2.2 million, what? How is this guy still getting paid that much money? He has not been a starter in the league with 3-4 years. He's been in the minors most of the last couple years.
He only been in the league 3-4 years.
Sucks. They basically traded with Detroit. It's like two GMs. It's like the two old grumpy men playing chess in the park, and they're just exchanging pieces left and right. That's what it's like with Verbeek and Yzerman right now. They're the two grumpy men in the park playing chess against each other, just swapping pieces.
The only difference is Verbeek thinks Yzerman's pieces are his, and he'll take them. He'll help him out and take his own pieces off the board. The thing with the Ducks that just confused me, it's not like they have no veteran leadership there in talent. Alex Killorn's there, Frank Vetrano's there, Ryan Strome is there. And then you added Kreider, which is okay. Ryan Poehling is still on the younger side. He's 26.
I'm sorry. Ryan Poehling is not veteran leadership.
No,
he's not.
No, he's on the younger side. I even said that. But the thing is, Anaheim was talked about to be these big game hunters this offseason. And your big game hunting was Mikael Granlund and Chris Kreider. After bailing out the Rangers.
Who else were they going to get?
Yeah. Right. What was there?
Marner was the only one.
There. Making the trades that you did, you better be sure that you're going to be able to acquire one of these big guys, like an Ehlers or a Marner or something like that.
But Ehlers didn't want to go there, and nor did Marner.
But that's the thing. Why make the moves that you did?
Because they still needed to bolster their roster in some capacity.
I still need to get to the cap floor.
So that's where we... Yeah, you still need to hit the cap floor. And so even then, even if they end up trading McTavish to another team, you really think that they're going to give him up for nothing? They're going to ask for
he'll find a way to botch
a massive thing. If he does, then he should be launched into the sun twice.
Yeah, no, he's going to...
Fuck it 3 times.
Still has value. But McTavish still has...
Zegras
had no... they fucked up with Zegers because they dicked around with his contract. Then they were switching him around. Then he got hurt a couple of times. They could have traded Zegers 2 years ago and got full value for that guy, but they dicked around with him and they waited too long and he lost all his value. And Philly was reaped the benefits. So,
and he's going to go off in Philadelphia. Zegers with Tocchet is going to go off. He's gonna pop off and be stellar. Might take him like half a season to get his footing down with the team system and everything like that. But then again, everyone's learning the new system that Tocchet's going to bring. But yeah, I think Philly's wow. I hope Zegers turns into an absolute phenomenal player. He's only 24, so his career is very much young.
Yeah,
I have a proposal. I have a proposal for Anaheim. I will give them a shiny Tanner Jeannot for a shiny Mason McTavish.
Yeah,
they'd do it.
You're sure they would?
They'd do it
in a second.
They would.
Yeah.
Heartbeat. Verbeek would be like, "Fuck, dude, that's a good deal. That's a big guy," and everyone else would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
This dude's trolling so hard.
Like, yeah, it's bad. No, I'm with Eric. I'm defending Anaheim. I like the moves that they make. I don't.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I don't think they're
moving
moves, but I think they're taking the team and the culture in the right direction, bringing in a guy like Kreider, bringing in a guy like Mikael Granlund. Again, more of like winning-ish culture where they've been on successful teams. Like, you know what I mean? And that's what it helps. And then, I mean, say what you want about Joel Quenneville. Shut up, Rick. But, again, a guy who had a winning culture, hopefully he's moved way beyond past that and become a better person. So, again, I think they're moving in the right direction. So
it just feels underwhelming is my issue with it, especially after they were hyped up so much to be these big game players when they weren't. Their big moves.
You thought that was underwhelming?
Yeah. From what I was hearing,
I had to watch.
They're going to be big game guys. They still have $28 million in cap to use.
Alex,
that feels underwhelming.
Alex, I had to watch my team signed Tanner Jeannot to 5 years at $3.4 million. Michael Eyssimont, Sean Corrali. I had to watch that happen.
You're due. You're due for or at least a mini retool.
I don't think I understand that.
Or Bruins fan.
I had to sit there and I had to watch my team sign fourth liners.
Hey Cam, have you ever watched?
You want to talk about underwhelming?
Do you know what we've had? Do you know what we've had to do as Flyers and Habs fans, and what we've had to see our
take on Jeff Petrie?
Yeah. Here, let me bring up the 2017 draft that the Flyers had, drafting Nolan Patrick second overall over Cale Makar, Mikko Heiskanen, and Elias Pettersson, and have him turn into nothing but migraine issues. Let me tell you about us acquiring Ryan Ellis, who played 4 career games before having a career-ending injury. Let me tell you about signing Sean Couturier to an 8-year contract with the proceeded to have 3 major surgeries right after. Let me tell you about us signing Joel Farabee to an extension, then having neck surgery. Do I dare go on? How about Cam Atkinson, who we traded for and then also had neck surgery? You want to talk about pain? And that's just a tip.
Yeah, neck surgery hurts, man.
How about Cutter Gauthier, who refused to play for this team and held us hostage?
Get over it,
was excited to be a Flyer.
Get over it.
Want to talk about pain? Who are you? That's it.
I agree with his message.
Thank you.
Both Team Bruins fan.
At least Rick can acknowledge my pain.
Oh my God. I thought that was never going to fucking end.
Things I said.
Some good rants for Alex today.
Oh God, dude. Oh. Well, I got my team out of the way. I'm just in pain. Yeah, I don't want to incite another rant by Alex, for the love of God, but like shit.
We have no sympathy for you. Sorry, buddy. No sympathy.
No, I mean every team goes through it, but I mean that I sat there with my hands like basically on my lap and being like,
it's no fun.
I wasn't expecting them to make big. Listen, I wasn't expecting the Bruins to make like needle moving acquisitions, but like if you already know you're going to be bad, there's no reason for you to sign people because you're already going to be at the cap floor.
But
let
listen,
the kids play.
My advice is get used to it, because that's where your team is at right now. They're in that part where you got to redo things.
They're in transition right now.
It's not fun, and yeah, we all went through it. So it's your turn.
No. Did any other team make any other noticeable moves? Because I don't think there was. Like there wasn't many trades or acquisitions. So I mean, it was a pretty boring.
There was nothing blockbuster. There was no blockbuster moves. I
found interesting.
Do you want to talk about that?
I wouldn't call that a blockbuster. I would call that no fucking shit, Sherlock.
What?
Well, it was more just getting value for him because you knew he was walking.
What, you talking about Marner?
Yeah. Marner did. Oh, please. Yeah, Marner did Toronto a minor solid by signing and trading. Like he didn't want. Actually, no. Come to find out, Steve Dangle said this.
Go ahead.
No, Steve Dangle found this out that it was not Marner that was doing this, that was hanging up the phone on them. It was his agents and the people around him that were doing that and causing that rift. Marner was perfectly fine with doing a sign and trade, apparently, according to.
Yeah, but what about at the deadline? What about the deadline when they or whenever they tried to move him and he said no?
Well, why would you want to move to a cup contender?
Because
his wife was 7 months pregnant.
You're calling the Leafs a cup contender? Oh my god!
Tell me that the talent on that team No, seriously, for a second, tell me, because once you make the playoffs, anything can happen. Even the Leafs winning a round, you know what I mean?
Leafs. No,
but you're going to seriously tell me what?
If they made the trade during the deadline, it would have been traded to Carolina.
Yeah, but then maybe Marner didn't want to stay there. I mean, look at what I don't think Carolina wanted that either. Look what happened with Rantanen.
No, that was my issue with how the Marner situation was handled. Was he knew for months he wanted out. For months. This wasn't something that just manifested over his last few weeks in Toronto. He was talking to Vegas players during the Four Nation break, just asking what it was like to live there. He knew he was ready to dip when this season was over.
Yeah.
You can argue why he didn't want to be moved at the deadline. He had a no movement clause. It's his right not to waive it. I completely respect that and get it. But there was nothing the Leafs could do aside from winning a cup that could have changed this guy's mind. He was
exactly. But I think he saw value in staying with that team because he probably believed that they could have done it. I don't fault him for wanting to stay for that reason. But then reality settled in, and then he looked at the jersey he was wearing and was like, fuck, we ain't winning a cup in the next 25 years.
Yeah. This whole time there was a waste if you go that way.
Yeah. There really isn't much to discuss on Mitch Marner aside from the fact, good for him. Now he's going to have an opportunity to go prove it, and then Vegas will trade him because that's what Vegas does.
Wow, I doubt. No.
So I
doubt that.
That's what Vegas has done.
Well, they have to find out if Vegas he's a winner or not.
Dude, Vegas has zero player loyalty. After a year of having Thomas Hertl, they were ready to move on from him. They moved on from Riley Smith twice. They traded they let their captain and Marchessault walk. They don't care.
Oh well.
And then they sucker punch Mark Stone at the beginning of every year, and so that he's ready for playoffs, and that way they can use the LTIR space.
Listen, Vegas is about winning really over loyalty. Always has been.
Yeah, and they've only won one cup in their 5 years, so it's working out for them.
If that's the case,
I'd be thrilled to win.
They won one and been to two finals, so I guess things work.
They've missed the playoffs.
Well, they lost in 2018. Yeah,
they've been to two finals. And
won
one.
I mean, but they also but I think they're also strapped for draft capital. They don't have a ton, but don't worry, I'm pretty sure they'll trade for that too. That's just the point. They don't. I wouldn't want to play for a team like Vegas, even if they're just we're in win now mode, because then I'd have to uproot myself and then leave. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money.
Question. Aside from the Florida teams, Do you think there's been a more successful franchise in the NHL since they've entered the league in 2018 than Vegas, not counting the Florida teams? I don't know.
Well, then
just in that time
you're
frame?
basically fixing. Yeah, you might be fixing
But
that
they've only
stat.
been in the
Then.
league
You know
that
what
long.
I mean? Like,
That's my point.
Well, but I mean,
yeah, but then you
it's only
can't take
them.
out the two teams that literally are competitive with them.
Well,
like,
that's why I say they're not the most
can.
successful, but they're the third most successful. Hence why I gave those.
I don't
two
know.
teams
I would consider Colorado. I would consider Colorado in there. They've retooled their entire team within a single year and still managed to make the playoffs.
Colorado's won a cup, as has Vegas, but Vegas has been to 2. Colorado's been to 1.
You could probably argue the 2022-2023 NHL Bruins because they did break a
No
record.
one cares about
although
that
they did not
choking
win a
hazard.
champion.
Yeah.
But then again, like I said, but then they
win,
didn't
though,
win a Stanley. They didn't win a Stanley Cup championship, but they did have regular season success. I wouldn't call it top 5, but they're there.
When you do what they did in the regular season and then bow out in the first round.
Listen,
sorry.
Yes, it's a general, but again, you're seeing you saw a generational thing happen. So that is
and then Marchand had a chance to win the series on a breakaway, was stopped, and then he wanted to win a cup in Florida.
Yep.
No one cares. You choked away a 3-1 series lead.
But no, I would say
the Bolts did after getting swept by Columbus.
But I would say that I would put Colorado in that conversation too.
No. Yeah, no, look, Colorado's been pretty successful.
Colorado
it also depends on what you consider like successful, right? Like, because if you look at, let's say, Edmonton's been to 2 finals and a conference final in like 3 years, so that's pretty damn successful. Like, they haven't won it, but like they've been there. Dallas went to 3 straight conference finals, like,
and a cup final,
and
a cup final.
In the bubble.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. It's like, and like I don't know, like. Vegas has been super successful in the limited time that they've been in the league. They also missed the playoff 1 year, though, so that like I don't know if that would hinder, but whatever. They battled a lot of injuries that year anyway. But like, look, no, Vegas is a cutthroat team, man. That's just what they are. They'll make the tough decision and they won't even blink twice. You know, like, but that's what it is. And
I almost respect them for it. I know there's no loyalty. But I almost respect them for it because they will make those difficult decisions and they don't have sentimental value. They put winning as a priority, and I kind of respect that.
Sometimes those decisions are the ones that pay off because, Vegas. Like, if you become too loyal, that's where you start getting into like bad contracts and like bad decisions, and you end up fucking your team harder than like you really should. You know, that's true. Like, look, you got to take the good with the bad sometimes. You know, so.
Anyway, and today's game,
it's going to be bad if they let Jack. There's speculation that Jack Eichel might walk, that they might have to let him walk because of the cap and the money.
I don't know what Vegas
like
is cap at the end of next year, so I can't.
I'm not sure what it is. Well, now Pietrangelo is going to be LTIR'd for life, so that you got that.
I don't think he had that much longer left on his deal anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, 2 more years. This and next.
Okay, so then again, that's still not that bad though, because again, you could trade that contract to someone that needs to hit the cap floor. Fucking Anaheim will take it probably.
Plus, you also have to take into account it's going up another $8.5 million. So there's your extension money, just there.
Yeah.
Pietrangelo is $8.8 million going on LTIR. So Vegas, well, they won't obviously have the whole contract right now, but they'll have 1.2 mil of that not used if they don't make another move. I do wonder what they'll do next offseason. Looking at their cap projection, Vegas has about 20 mil right now, and that's not counting the LTIR money. However, they will have 6 defensemen.
Yeah, and Eichel's gonna want 14 million.
I will say they only have 7 forwards, so you might be right, Cam. You might be right on this one.
I told you.
He's
gonna want 13, 14 million.
He's going to want big money, and they'll if you don't count the LTIR, they'll have 20.375 mil. If you do count it, they'll have a little north of 29 million. So they could make it work.
If they do that, then yes, they might have enough money to do it. They could make it work. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but it all depends. Let's talk about arbitration. because there's just one team that's sending three players to arbitration. That's the Winnipeg Jets. Gabriel Velarde. I can't remember the guy's first name. Sandberg, and there is another one as well. Dylan Sandberg, right?
Yeah.
I believe so. And then there is a third individual.
Morgan Barron.
That's it.
Oh, they had three? Okay.
Yeah.
Two, I don't know how bad of a situation you need to be in for three of your players to take you to arbitration. You have $20 million in cap.
Are they
How is this a problem?
Taking anybody? Maybe the team's taking them.
Maybe. But even then,
the only one on the list that says
bad
it's team elected is Byram.
Oh.
So it all seems to be player elect.
Yeah.
So how bad do you as a GM need to be with $20 million in cap space and you have three players taking you to arbitration?
How about if we go back a couple of years? Didn't Scheifele want out, and a bunch of them wanted out? Maybe there's still issues there.
Oh, there's no doubt. You have $20 million in cap, and you're telling me you can't figure that out between three players?
Velarde's going to be interesting. That's the name.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? A lot of the time, these things always get settled beforehand anyway. So
that's true.
It's a lot of it is just formality.
Yeah, they signed before the hearing.
Tisplakov's another name in on Long Island that I'd watch too. I know the Isles were high on him last year. Maybe he thinks he deserves more than what they want to gamble him for.
Who'd you just say?
Tisplakov, the guy with the Isles.
Siplikov?
Fuck his name. You know me with botching. Siplikov. That doesn't even look like Siplikov.
Okay.
It does. Okay. Sure does.
The team's silent.
Here's the thing with Gabriel Velarde. He's 25 years old. His previous cap hit was $3.4 million. Give him 8. Give him 8. Why are we arguing with this?
How old is Velarde?
He's 25. In 71 games played, he gave you 61 points. Give him 8. Give him 8, call it a deal, and sign the other RFAs that you have. Because all you have left to sign after that would be Morgan Barron, who I believe is on their depth chart anyway. He's their fourth line center. And Rasmus Kupari, who, I don't know, doesn't even have on the depth chart where he would be. So that means he's like a 13th player. And Dylan Sandberg. I don't even know what else to describe you. Give him $4 million. I don't how hard is that? How fucking hard is that? I just solved your cap issue, and then you have $7 million in cap to figure out the rest. Solve the problem.
It might not be that as easy as that.
Unless Gabriel Velarde is smoking some serious shit and he thinks he's getting north of $8 million, I don't even know what to tell you. But because of the Besser signing, the Ehlers signing, I have a difficult time seeing him getting more than 8.
Well, I wouldn't be shocked if he got close to 9.5. I'll be honestly, I would shock me.
For Velarde?
I would be because they're
for
Velarde, I would be.
Velarde's a top winger.
You're not giving 9.5 for 61 points.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
No,
maybe not that much, but I wouldn't be as
say between 7 and 8. I would say between 7 and 8.5, somewhere between there. But you're north of 8.5 is crazy, especially with what Ehlers just signed for, and I think his point production was similar.
So that's there too is interesting.
I had more points than that. Let me see.
I'm surprised Kako went to arbitration, especially after the rebound he had in Seattle.
I'm not surprised because I'm pretty sure Seattle wants a prove-it deal.
He might want
$10 million. Yeah, it could be a term. Actually, yeah, it could be a term thing. They have $13 million. I'm sorry, they have $10 million, but they also need to sign Riker Evans, and that's where I think the real issue is. They probably want to get both of them on some form of deal, but they have 2 goaltenders right now, eating up between $5 and $6 million. Joey Decord's making $5, and Philip Grubauer is making 5.9. You got to move one of those guys.
Grubauer,
Poopbauer.
That's what I'm.
Goalie in hockey.
Yeah, or even if you have to retain some value on that, do it. If it means if it means getting you something. By the way, they traded for Joe Veleno and then bought him out. What the fuck?
Well, it's because it was for the Burakovsky contract, so that Chicago could take that because they were going to buy out Burakovsky and it would have cost them a lot more.
Okay,
so
fine,
they ended
fair.
up shipping Burakovsky out, saving that money, and buying out Veleno and costing. I'm actually surprised that Veleno was not signed yet. I figured somebody would take a chance on him.
Not Boston. Sorry, we're too busy fucking ourselves in the ass.
I just heard
No.
he signed with Boston. No, I'm just joking.
Probably. He probably did something like that. No, was it? Kako had 79 games played, and then he had 44 points. So what are you going to do? But he was a 0.61 points per game player in Seattle as opposed to 0.47 points per game in New York. I see him working out in Seattle, but I'm actually on Seattle's side. You do need to see a bit more out of him. I'd give him 2 years at $5 million, take him right up to his UFA year, and then see what he can do. He might need to take that.
Boys, we got a little bit of breaking news. Well, we're on the subject of arbitration. Utah Mammoth have avoided arbitration. One of their players, Jack McBain, avoids arbitration, signing a 5-year, $4.25 million contract.
McBain.
A little bit.
I don't hate that for McBain. Like I mean, when you look at what the other 3 C's are getting,
yeah,
it's not terrible.
27 points last year. It's a little high, but it's with the rising cap, it's not too bad.
He's 25 years old though, Alex. So I mean, you gotta hope that he shows progression on that, and with respect to that, he has had a bit of a down year compared to the other years, but he does hover around that 26, 27 point range. So I don't hate that deal for his 3C position, but under the new ownership, I think he'll do a lot better. He's only 25.
It's not bad. You probably want to at least be sniffing the mid to high 30s for points, but it's not terrible.
He's sniffing it. I mean, he's sniffing 30. Yeah, and the team's getting better.
3C, so especially with the rising cap, it's fine.
Nope, don't have no problem.
I find it's a little rich that contract, but it's okay.
What'd you say, Eric?
I don't know.
I find it's a little rich, but whatever.
Little, yeah. I mean, it's
3C. It's not uncommon for 3Cs to make like $5 million. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but like or more. That's 3Cs with bigger production.
Yeah, 3Cs with bigger production are getting that paid like that. Like,
yeah, I mean, you gotta.
I look at it 10 more points to make that.
I agree.
I look at it a little differently. He's 25 years old. He has 2 more years to, I think, kind of prove that he's worth that deal, and I think he's going to. And the Mammoth are continuously getting better. So you got to think like they're under new ownership, and they're going to surround that guy with some assistance to kind of help get that going. So I really don't hate it.
It's more like maybe the term was maybe a year too many for my taste. Maybe I probably would have went 4 years, but maybe he said I would have taken the pay reduction, at least my version of the pay reduction. He may have been asking for 5 and be willing to go down if he got an extra year. Maybe that's how they met in the middle. So
I mean, they still have $6 million in cap, so I mean they could do something, but I doubt it.
Listen, it's still better than Trent Frederick contract.
Anything's better than what was it? 8 years and a full no move clause.
Yeah.
Fuck. What the hell was that? I don't know. And I lost my train of thought. Where were we? Winnipeg, right? So
yeah.
I have no idea. No, we were talking. I'm sorry, the Kraken with Kako. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm excited for it. I think it's nuts that some of the players go into arbitration, and I think it's really bad that Winnipeg has 3 players taking them to arbitration, and you have $20 million in cap. I think that's insulting. I think you as a GM need to look at that at yourself. It's pretty bad.
Well, they'll probably sign him before his hearing.
You better hope. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. And when we had Billy Jaffe on too, and he discussed like not a lot of people necessarily may want to be in Winnipeg, but that's not helping your case to bring people to Winnipeg. So I don't know. Go from there. I mean, you pay a franchise goalie. What was it, like $9 million or something like that, and then he just fucks you over in the playoffs. But you won't pay a guy that actually scores goals. And that's a problem. I don't know, guys. Final thoughts.
My final
Don't all
thought
speak at
actually.
once.
My final thought is actually I was a bit surprised by Pius Suter. I thought he was my guy that I thought he was gonna get way overpaid and too much term and for the production that he had for his season that he had last year. And he actually got a 2-year 4.13, I think, or 4.3 million from St. Louis. That's a really fucking good contract for Pius Suter. And
fantastic.
Yeah. And like honestly, like if that was the case, I would have signed him to that. Like as a Flyers,
He
I would
put
have
up almost 50 points last year, didn't he? He had 25 goals. That's
I think it was like in the 40-ish points, I think, something like that. And yeah, I really like that contract. I think that's that one. Even the Drouin contract, 2 years at $4 million from the Islanders. I think that's gonna be a legit contract. It's gonna be a good deal.
Can we not bring up players that I wish the Bruins would have entertained?
Do you know that Drouin got 3 less years and $700,000 more than Tanner Jeannot?
Did you know I want to kill myself? We had
Lord, pray for him. Ain't nothing wrong with him. His GM's just a klutz.
we had $13 million. We got Victor Arvidsson, Michael
I don't hate
Eyssimont,
Arvidsson deal as
Sean
much.
Corrali,
and
Tanner Ape Man Jeannot.
Eyssimont.
In all honesty, I actually don't hate the Eyssimont in the Corrali trade. I don't hate those two. Sorry, not trade signing, but Tanner Jeannot, I wanted to, I shove my own foot up my ass, out my mouth, and then sweep the floor with my whatever the fuck conglomerate or contortion body would have been, because it would have been less of a mess than what that contract was.
Man, that guy is just feasting on that 120 goal season he had. He is feasting on it.
That guy is rubbing his nipples and going, fuck you guys over.
Oh my god. Don't worry. Let's not sign Jonathan Drouin, even though he's injury prone, but he had a great season. Let's fucking sign Tanner Jeannot, who's going to spend more time in the penalty box than Terry O'Reilly. So that's good.
Hey, now you got two guys that can spend all that time in the penalty box. Him and Nikita Zadorov.
If this is the Bruins' funny way of tanking for McKenna, go for it. Who gives a fuck at this point? But the 5 years of that, five years of that, I have to do 5 years of that.
Yep.
I have to look. I'm buying. You know what? Fuck it, guys. I'm buying a Tanner Jeannot jersey. I'm gonna get a custom one.
Would that be considered self-inflicted harm?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'll get like one of those, knockoff ones. That way I could say I didn't have to spend an arm and a leg. Second highest prices in the frickin' NHL to go see Bruins games, and they go and sign Tanner Jeannot to $3.4 million. I'm gonna fucking shoot myself in the foot. Alex, any final thoughts?
Let's see. Teams that I think won and lost the offseason. Teams I think that won it. I love what the Islanders did. Yeah, they traded Noah Dobson. It was time, but they acknowledged that they need to bolster up their free agency. They won the draft lottery. They got pick 16, 17, Heineman for him in that trade, and they got two excellent prospects out of pick 16 and 17 that both dropped to them. And Eric's boy Atchison and
Eklund.
That was the other one. I was blanking on.
Words are really hard for Alex.
So both great picks there. They didn't get James Higgins, but their prospect pool is loading up. It's going to be a rough year for the Isles, but they are moving in the right direction. They got the fucking sniffing, horrible old man smell of Lou Lamoriello off of them. They're actually making smart, competent hockey moves. So, bravo to them. I have no fucking idea what the Kings are doing. I really don't. We went over them early in this thing. They were bad. this offseason. I think they had a terrible offseason. I think Montreal had a good offseason. I'll give it to Rick and Nordy and his team, their team. I think they're ready to make another step. Going to be interesting to see what they do. I want to put Edmonton as a loser because they still haven't gotten a fucking goalie, and they signed Trent Frederick to who the hell knows what kind of contract. So, loser there. That's probably it. Those are the 4 teams that really come to mind off the top of my head.
Ooh.
And you know
Okay,
what? Maybe
so for me,
Carolina, they win too.
Oh, okay. It's not me yet.
He's still
Now
going.
now it's you. That was
me. All right. For me,
I said final thoughts. I didn't mean to write a book. Go ahead, Rick. Sorry.
I think the Habs aren't talked about enough. I think they had a really good offseason so far. I do believe they're probably mostly done, but I hear they're active still. And yeah, so I'm proud of my team. Go Habs, go! And that's all I got to say.
Can I have Matt's since he's not here? I have just one more thing.
Yeah,
go ahead.
The Buffalo Sabres. Okay, this one kind of confused me a little bit too. They traded Dylan Cousins to Ottawa. To Ottawa for Norris and Docker. Okay. Wow. And they also got rid of a second, and then anyway, they didn't even qualify
Docker, right?
Docker.
Yeah. I saw that.
And did you see what they got for Peterka?
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like
fine. Kesselring's good. I'll give them that. They needed help on the right side, but
you need
Josh Doan.
You need right-handed defensive defensemen, and you don't qualify Bernard Docker, who was the only other piece in that trade for Dylan Cousins. What the fuck are you doing? Seriously, even just for the optics, you fucking qualify him. Just for the optics. Now this organization is more dumb.
Yeah, you don't start Alex again.
No, that's it. I'm out of energy.
Sorry, I just had to bring that up. I'm sorry. It's so dumb.
God.
To Coach Shorzy, so dumb. So dumb.
So dumb. Dude, you're fucking garbage, kid. Sounded more like Peter Griffin than anything else. Yeah. All right, guys. Great.
All right.
Great talking with you guys tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for episode 76 of this fucking free agent fumble that sucked ass. Fucking Tanners, Gonna have PTSD for this for 5 fucking years. Anyway, this is the Pucking Around podcast, presented by Don't Puck with Media. Don't forget to like, subscribe, give us a follow. Don't forget to comment, give us your thoughts, connect with us through our website at don'tpuckwithmedia.com. Follow us on Twitter, Bluesky, all of our socials. Check us out on our TikToks. Check out our sister shows. We love you guys. And until next week, peace, bitches.
Ciao, everybody.
Promise that you'll kiss me.